There you are.
Up here we are. How you doing, sir?
Good. Hi, Andrew.
How are you doing?
Good. Welcome to Hiker's Dream. Glad you could join us
Thank you so much for having me on.
for a little chat. Are you part Russian? Do you have any Russian in you? Vasily?
Yes, I am. I was actually adopted from Russia when I was 6 months old by my good, loving parents, and so are my siblings, my brother and my sister.
So did you grow up there, or where did you grow up? Here in the
No,
States?
I actually grew up in Louisville, Kentucky. Yes, for most of my life, and then I spent some about 4 or 5 years in Nashville, Tennessee. I just moved back up from Louisville after my Arizona trail hike, and I'm here until I leave for the PNT next week.
So вы понимаете по-русски?
No, I don't speak
Okay.
any Russian.
Okay.
Was it the face that gave it away? The facial structure?
No, Vasily, the middle name.
Ah, yes.
Because I'm
Yes.
I'm Latvian. My parents are
Oh,
Latvian. Yeah, so we have a
very
lot of,
nice.
yeah, very nice. Yes, very nice.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So I found you because I'm going to be doing the Arizona Trail probably in October. So I want to talk to you about that for one thing. How was that?
Okay.
How was that experience?
Oh man. So Arizona, a lot of people that you talk to about Arizona, unless they've been there, they kind of just think, oh, the whole state's a desert. And that's what I thought before I'd gone there. The furthest west I'd gone was maybe Austin, Texas. And you get there, and depending on where you hike from, so I went north to south. I started at State Line Campground in Utah, and then I hiked to the border of Mexico. But you're starting in high desert slash pine forest once you get past Grand Canyon, and you're coming into the Coconino National Forest. I believe it's the largest ponderosa pine forest in the world. Um, so you kind of start off low desert, and then you walk yourself into the pines, and then obviously you're walking through the Grand Canyon. So that's an absolute treat. That it's got to be the most beautiful thing I've ever seen with my own two eyes, was walking through the Grand Canyon, getting to experience millions of years of this earth being made and all of the different rock formations, and just it was absolutely stunning. And then you skirt yourself down through Phoenix and then through Tucson. You go through the Mazatzals and the Four Peaks. And after Pine, Arizona, you drop into the desert. You're pretty much in the desert from Pine, Arizona, all the way to the border. So that means the water carries get different. Your food consumption gets different. You're not hiking in the middle of the day anymore. So from like 12 to 2 o'clock after Pine, I would be trying to find rest, shade somewhere if you can find it. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Arizona is beautiful. It's absolutely, it's desolate, very desolate, but Arizona's special. It's just special. It's spiritual. It's me not having a lot of experience out west. It's so vast. In Kentucky and on the East Coast, it's just a green tunnel. It's just green for miles and miles and miles. But out there, you can see for forever, hundreds of miles, if possible. But it was Arizona is
Whoa.
wonderful. I'll hike that trail again for sure.
Well, did you have any experiences with any your dreams or seeing things, any portals? Because I know Sedona's famous for that kind of thing, spiritual kind of experiences and happenings.
So Picket Post Mountain, if you're familiar with that, it's outside of Oracle. Picket Post Mountain, supposedly there are some portals up there. And I felt some things I couldn't necessarily earthly describe around Picket Post Mountain. And you can hike up to Picket Post, and there are whole bunches of stories. And that's where a lot of people go to collect the stones, like the black see-through stones. What would that be? Be like volcanic rock.
Obsidian or what?
Obsidian. Yeah.
Okay.
So like there's a huge obsidian composite around Picket Post Mountain. And the story goes as to settlers were forcing Apache Indians off of their land, and they had actually made them jump off of Picket Post Mountain, or so the story goes. And you find these pieces of obsidian that look like Indian tears. And that's what they call them. They call them Indian tears. And they're about this big. They look like teardrops, and you can go find those. As well as I found gold over there by Oracle. I found...
You found gold, like nuggets?
Yeah, I did. I found some gold composites in the side of a mountain, like little traces of gold. And I was with somebody, and they were like, "That's not fool's gold. That's definitely gold." But it wasn't enough for me to be like, "Yeah, I want to take any," because that's the land. That's not mine. And it was just a cool experience, as well as I found copper. I found a whole bunch of metallic substances embedded in those rocks. But Picket Post Mountain, forget that. Remember that name.
I'll check it out. I wrote it down. I'll check it out. It's a side trail up there, or what?
No, so the trail to get up the Picket Post, you're gonna have to get off. It's probably gonna take you 4 or 5 hours to get up there and then get back to the trail. As well as Oracle has a really nice hostel in town as well. So if you have the chance, go check that hostel out. I forget the name of the hostel, but there's a very good hostel in Oracle, as well as trail towns. Are you very familiar with Arizona, sir?
I spent some time in Sedona and Cottonwood. I was going to buy some property out in Cottonwood once, but I've spent maybe a couple weeks in Sedona. That's about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my favorite trail towns on the Arizona Trail would have to be Kearney, Arizona, very small town. It's one road, pizza shop, post office. You can usually call the pizza shop guys. And I think it's Old Town Pizza is the name of the joint. And they will actually come and pick you up from the trailhead. They'll give you rides. They're very nice people. There's a couple other hostels in Kearney. Kearney is fantastic. The people are great. If you get a chance to go hang out in Patagonia, go hang out in Patagonia. It is a hiker's dream town. It's a very small town, but it's got everything you need. The people there have to be the best people in the world. Just a very small hippie community of just people that are willing to do whatever it takes for these hikers. And I found Arizona very friendly. It was a very friendly state, as opposed to down here in the South. It's a little bit more different. You do have that Southern hospitality, but people don't pick up hitchhikers where I'm from. So
was this your first long distance hike or medium distance
it was.
hike? Okay.
It was. So I have a good, decent background in backpacking growing up, going to Red River Gorge, the Sheltowee Trail. My friend Wonky had actually just decided to hike the Florida Trail last year. And I came and picked him up in Pensacola, and seeing the transformation of my friend go from a boy to a man.
Right.
And just these changes that brought about his persona to a whole new light. I was like, man, I'm really jealous of what you just did. I'm really jealous of who you are now. And I feel as though I want to do something like that. I've always had the wanderer mindset. I've always been a traveler, a vagabond. And I think when he hiked this trail, he allowed me to believe that it was possible for me to go out there and do something on my own. And shortly after he finished, my other friend had hiked the AT for the first time. So it's just a very small pot of friends that I've had growing up for years. And now we're all long distance hikers, but it's kind of solidified our friendship a little bit more, as far as when I'm going through a hard time in my life, I can talk to those guys because they know what it feels like to walk until your bones say, hey, no more, or walk until you want to fall over and pass away. These guys know what I feel and how I feel like. So to have friends like that supporting you and have your interests with you. That's very important. And getting off trail and dealing with all of that other stuff, that's a whole different conversation, because it is a challenge having to adjust back to real life after you get back. It's a challenge for sure.
Yeah. Why even come back? You don't have to.
Hey, some people don't, man.
Yeah, I
Some
know.
people don't. That's the thing. I ran into so many different people, and they're like, man, I just live on trail now. I'm getting supported by the government.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
whether you're retired, disability, food stamps, whatever. Like, hey, live your life and do it with a smile on your face. What am I going to tell you can't do, you know?
That's what happened to me. I was 64 when I did the PCT in 2014, and finally had a window and some money to, and semi-retired so I could do it. But you know, and I had been married 3 times, have 4 kids. You know, I've had 3 houses. But the trail, you know, you'd think, you know, yeah, he's experienced, but the trail is a much different experience in terms of survival.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can survive in civilization, go through the routines and get a job and all that stuff, but it's not really survival. It's just playing the game. But here you really have to, you know, like take care of yourself. And it really was an experience in respect, you know, self-respect and confidence. And, you know, you get a taste of real survival. Better than going in the army where people are shooting at you, but you're still out there, you know, trying to make find water and shelter and keep warm and stuff, etc. So yeah, it's just like totally different now.
Oh yeah. And you definitely have to be prepared going out there. And going to Grand Canyon, just as an example, you go to the Grand Canyon and you will find yourself meeting a lot of people that are seriously underprepared, like almost appallingly unprepared. So you're telling me you're going to walk down 5,000 feet all the way to the Colorado River and walk all the way back up with one bottle of water and sandals and one bag of snacks? Like, come on, like that's seriously, it's silly. You're playing with your life. You don't understand how your body reacts to stress and stressful situations, and being prepared, even though it's just a walk down and walk back. Well, that's like 4 miles, and that's like 10,000 feet of elevation gain. And trying to come up with a way that we can help these people become better prepared, sharing our stories, talking to people. I think that's more so the direction I want to go in the future. Helping people understand, you know, this isn't a game. Like I take my stuff very seriously. I take my preparation very seriously. Being mentally fit and mentally strong is very important. Now, I'm not going to say that going out and practicing 15, 20 miles every day before you go on trail isn't good, because that's great. But you need to be mentally strong and be willing to accept that you will be in a lot of uncomfortable situations, but you just have to be comfortable in the uncomfortable situations. You have to find your balance. And I think that's very important for sure. And I want to help educate people about being mentally strong out there, because you can be the strongest hiker in the world, but if you don't have a strong mind, then you're not going to make it.
Yeah, that's very, very right on. Yeah, that's why I'm doing this too. I'm starting these interviews because I see it as a template for even living in civilization. You know, the support that hikers give each other and the community that's built. I mean, it could be like a model for us in the towns and cities. In a way, you know, you could adjust it and relate it to that. But right now, the way the competition and dog eat dog, it's terrifying for a lot of people, and it's hard. But here you're with nature, you're relating to something that's real rather than relating to something that's made up. The technology, which is fine in its sense, but it's in a way it's not really relating to something real. So that's where people get stressed out, you know. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Did you hike with fellow hike? Did you have a trail family, or did you do
So
solo?
I had started alone, and I had ran into a couple of different people when I first started. I think the Arizona Trail, by my knowledge and by what I've seen looking at hiker reports and the finishers, I think they had a record year this past year going southbound. I was hearing numbers anywhere from 100 to 200 hikers were walking southbound. And you might know this or might not know this, but in years past, the Arizona Trail has been a lesser known national scenic trail. It's one of the younger, I think it's one of the newer national scenic trails, if I'm not mistaken. And some areas are still being developed. They're actually trying to reroute the trail right now. And you can go on the AZTA and look at what they're trying to do. Um, but this was a record year. So I was on and off hiking with different people for the first couple of weeks, but I was always with one or two people for a majority of my time. And I did eventually find a tramley, my good friend Fire, and then my good friend Tapeworm, Walking Tapeworm. And they taught me a lot of things about hiking that probably, one, saved my life, and two, helped me educate more people about hiking. I learned some of the craziest things on my first day. Not even 5 miles past the trailhead, people are talking to me about the trail and things that if I did not know on that day could have really put me in harm's way. Um, First day, actually, I had ran into this guy named Happy Go Lucky, and he's a seasoned hiker. He's a vet. One of the first things he said to me was, he's like, "Kid, this hike will ruin your life. It will absolutely ruin your life in the best ways possible." Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Great. I just ruined my life." Great. Mm-hmm. And he was on his mission to complete the FKT, a fully unsupported FKT. So he had started in Utah with, I believe, 88 pounds of gear going fully unsupported, and 55 of those pounds were food. He didn't end up getting the FKT. He finished in 33 days, I believe. And I talked to him. I was like, "Man, how'd you do that?" He's like, "Dude, I have no idea. I ran out of food as I was finishing like my last day. Like I was out of food." And I was like, "Dude, that's insane." And there was a good amount of people. I would say I was started right at the end of the bubble. I caught the bubble a little bit, but I was usually with one or two other people the whole time. But I did do a couple 100-mile stretches where I was by myself. And that's an experience that if you can take it, because hiking by yourself, you get this pure sense of yourself and what you're doing. And you don't have any other stimulations. You don't have somebody to talk to. It's just you and your thoughts and the ground beneath your feet. And it's a magical experience. But I'm an extrovert, so I like talking to people. I like being around other people. I get my energy from other people. And one, it's a lot safer to hike with other people. So I highly suggest you hike with other people. And if you're an experienced backpacker, you can go out there and try that stuff by yourself, but at least have some sort of a GPS communication device to where you can get out of a sticky situation if you find yourself in one. It's very important if you want to go out there and do these things by yourself. But either way, solo, not solo, take a GPS, take a Garmin, tell your mom or your dad where you are, or your friends, whoever's taking care of you. Just let's be smart about this gear stuff, guys. Where it's 2022. I have a Garmin InReach Mini. It's this big and it weighs like 3 or 4 ounces. It's like $300. Just spend the money. Mm-hmm. It's safe. It's going to help you out, and you'll have it for a long time. That's how I feel about that. But there was a lot of people on the Arizona Trail this year, a lot. And I'm going to go ahead and safely assume it's going to maybe double next year or the year after that.
What month did you start? What month did you start southbound?
I started southbound on October 6th of 2021.
Okay.
And
It's about when I'm going to start this year.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
So,
and then I finished December 8th.
okay. How many days is that? Did you count? Let's see. December. Oh, you took a while then.
I did take a while, but I would say that, I will say that I believe I took a lot of zeros.
Mm-hmm.
I did. I took a lot of zeros. I took a lot of double zeros. I caught my stride in the last 300 miles where I was probably cranking 27s, 30s every other day. And that was my sweet spot, about 25, 30. But I probably was actually hiking for about 40 days or so. But, I was out there on my own adventure. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, hell yeah, I was going to take a double zero every now and then, enjoy town and hang out with my friends and get to fully relax. Is if you're not on a financial stressful budget, go out there for 4 months if you want.
Yeah. How long? How much? Besides all the gear in the beginning, what did it cost you to do the trail, the 800 miles?
So generally, I would say for backpacking purposes, living on trail, and this may have changed, but depending on where you are, I believe they say it's like $1 a mile, and um,
Yeah.
I believe it's about $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
But I think I spent total of about $3,000 to $3,500 total in my 2 months, which is a little bit more than what I was expecting. But
Yeah, that's what I figured. About $100 a week or something like that. For
yeah, but that's also with the caveat of I stayed in a hotel or a motel whenever I got the chance, and I was not as responsible with gear like I am right now. And between my gear, buying all of my gear, and the actual trip itself, I was probably around like the $5,000 to $5,500 range, I would
wow.
assume, and that includes airfare as well.
Okay.
And then this year, I'm probably going to be in the exact same boat. I actually spent a little bit more money on my gear this year than I did last year because I learned more about how I walk, what I like to eat, those sorts of things. And it's not that I want to go ultra work for you. Go ahead and spend the extra $40, $50 on that sleeping bag. It's going to keep you warmer at night. Like a lot of these people just see the price tags and they're like, oh, that's expensive. I don't need that. And it's like, you might not need that, but it's going to help you out a lot when you get cold at night or when you're walking around feeling that 40-pound backpack that you got all that stuff in. So go ahead and spend the extra money and get that gear. That's what I tell people.
I was curious, did you have any mail drops, or can you resupply on the hike without any of that?
So
Food.
that's a loaded question. There are definitely a lot of resources that I would suggest you use. The AZTA being number one. You can find resupply charts on the AZTA, and then you can find a lot of good content on YouTube and on the internet browser about mileages between towns, what that town has to offer.
What did you do? How did you do it?
I did not use any resupply boxes. I didn't have my family or my friends send me any because I had a pretty clear idea of where I was going and when I was going.
Yeah.
And I didn't necessarily have any troubles resupplying anywhere. There is maybe one spot that I would consider mailing something to, and that would be a little bit before I would send one if I could do it again. I would send one to Lake Roosevelt because the resupply options are a little bit. It's a little iffy. I would look into sending one to Lake Roosevelt, but other than Lake Roosevelt, you've got pretty good options and you can make it work for sure. But what I necessarily didn't understand last year is that northern Arizona is a lot more expensive than middle and southern Arizona. It's a lot more desolate. You might want to think about sending some packages up to, like, let's say Jacobs Lake. You can do one. You can send one to the Grand Canyon, but they had some options if you're willing to spend a little bit more money. You can get away with it now, but it's going to be a little bit on the expensive side, and you might not get the selection that you're necessarily wanting. But yeah, I didn't have any problems with resupply whatsoever, I wouldn't say, other than Lake Roosevelt, where it was like, man, I might be eating candy for 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, right. Sometimes you get, just to have the junk food available, so to speak.
Yeah, you eat like a total raccoon out there. Yeah.
Okay, so we're kind of at the end here. I like to keep it to a half an hour, but one more question. What did you become more aware of during your hike? How did it, what did you become more aware of? Let's put it that way. What are you more aware of since hiking long distance?
I'm more aware of 2 things. I'll give you 2 things. One, okay. I'm more aware of my body and what I'm capable of and how powerful the mind is. The mind is a very powerful tool, and a lot of people underutilize their mind. The mind's the most important part of your body. You can tell your mind that you can do anything, and your body will allow you to do it within physical capabilities, of course. How powerful I am and how much energy I can emit and I can use. And then the other thing is, don't listen to the social medias and the newses and other people. This world is full of great people, man. There's a lot of good people out there willing to love you, willing to house you, willing to feed you, willing to clothe you. And I ran into some people that I will think about for the rest of my life. They took me in and they treated me like family. They treated me like a long lost cousin they hadn't seen in years. And to feel that kind of love from another human being, I can't quantify that feeling right now. It's still so special and so raw. And taking that and pushing it forward and paying it back to those people, that's how we go about all of this. I'm paying back what people paid me, and that's how all of this keeps going. Trail magic, that's just good people doing a good deed. We need those people.
Yeah, you got it. That's good. And your trail name, I didn't catch that. Andrew, you have a trail name?
I am Grit.
Grit?
Yeah, Grit. G-R-I-T.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it. It's been a pleasure, Grit. Okay.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Yeah, let's keep in touch, and please send me any photos, videos, links to anything that you, contact information, and we'll put it at the end of this video.
Okay, cool. Yeah, great. Yeah, send me whatever you end up doing with this interview.
Yeah, I will.
Wherever you end up posting it.
I've got an editor, but I'm still trying to get the techie part, figured out. I've got a YouTube channel here, but I'll send you that once it's edited, probably in 2 or 3 days. Thanks, Grit.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. we can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.